You've probably heard the phrase the ground slipping out from under someone's feet, but for this man, it actually starts happening. The story begins with a French painter named Remy. He lives a comfortable life with his wife Michelle and their 2 children. At first, it seems like a strange little moment, nothing more than an unsettling feeling he can't explain. One day, while playing with his kids, Remy notices that he's suddenly sinking into his chair. He quickly jumps up, but the bizarre experience stays on his mind for the rest of the day. From that moment on, strange things keep happening to him. Sometimes he feels like he's sinking into the floor, and other times it feels as if his bed is trying to swallow him while he sleeps. He can't figure out what's causing it, so he assumes it must all be in his head. A few days later, Remy is in his art studio with his children. By accident, he forgets to turn off a water faucet, and the entire studio ends up flooded. One careless mistake is suddenly enough to put everything he's worked for at risk. Because of that small mistake, his entire career is ruined. He desperately tries to save whatever paintings he can, but right then, it happens again. He starts sinking into the ground. This time, he can't pull himself back out. And before he can understand what's happening, the world beneath him completely gives way. He suddenly finds himself in an ocean belonging to another world. This place has not 1, not 2, but 3 suns hanging in the sky. Everything around him feels impossible, as if reality itself has been replaced by something unknown. A group of tribal people spots him and immediately starts running toward him. Terrified, Remy backs away. Then something pulls him back into the water. In the very next moment, he's back in his own world. Remy knows this can't be just a dream. When he gets home, he tells Michelle about what happened, but she refuses to believe him. The truth is, Michelle's mind is somewhere else. She's fallen in love with her boss, Dr. Geller, and now she wants to be with him instead. In a single day, Remy loses not only his career, but his marriage as well. The weight of everything crashing down on him becomes almost impossible to carry. Even then, he tries to talk calmly and work things out, but Michelle doesn't even come home alone. She brings Dr. Geller with her. Watching all of this unfold, Remy says nothing. He lets them make their own choices. Finally, exhausted and heartbroken, he tells them he'll be leaving the house within a few days. For Remy, the life he once knew is slowly slipping away piece by piece. After that, Remy goes to his family looking for help. They listen to him for a while, but no one really pays much attention. The more he tries to explain what's happening, the more isolated he begins to feel. Disappointed, Remy heads into the kitchen to make some coffee. That's when the strange events begin again. The family cat suddenly freezes in midair. Remy grabs it and moves it around, but it's like a toy. He calls out to his family, only to realize that everything around him has completely stopped. Time itself seems frozen in place. Then the ground slowly starts turning into liquid, and once again, Remy begins sinking into it. When he opens his eyes, he's standing in the middle of a forest. He walks farther in and sees a group of tribal people cooking an animal they have just killed. He asks them for help, but instead they start chasing him, intending to make him the next meal. What begins as a desperate search for answers quickly turns into a fight for survival. Remy runs for his life at full speed. A short time later, he reaches a village and hides inside a cave. Then a powerful force grabs him and pulls him back. He suddenly crashes into his own house. The kitchen is a complete mess, with things scattered everywhere. His family rushes over to see what happened. Remy tries his best to explain everything, but no one believes him. And with nobody willing to listen, the mystery surrounding him only grows darker. After that, Remy becomes dizzy and collapses right there. When he opens his eyes, he's in a hospital, but even there, nothing improves. No matter where he goes, every explanation sounds impossible to everyone around him. The next day, Remy returns to his studio. Representatives from the bank and several clients are already there, trying to collect money from him. Then, without warning, everyone suddenly stops moving and speaking. Before he can make sense of it, he starts sinking into the ground again. He struggles with everything he has to stop it, but it's no use. For the 3rd time, he ends up in the other world. This time, he's sitting in a basket high up in a tree. The tribal people are staring at him with excitement, almost as if they've been waiting for him all along. For the first time, it feels like his arrival here wasn't an accident at all. Through gestures, he slowly realizes they want to see him fly. Convinced that he won't be allowed to go home until he succeeds, Remy gathers his courage and tries to take off. Instead, he crashes face first. The tribe then forces him to eat a magical green fruit. Suddenly, he can understand everything they're saying. The tribal chief finally explains how Remy ended up in their world. The entire tribe has been terrorized by a monstrous creature named Shaitan. It kidnaps people, kills them, and devours them. And according to everything they've been told, Remy may be their only chance to stop it. Long ago, the tribe's scholars discovered something in an ancient book. According to the prophecy, only a man from another world could save them from the monster. That's why they had been using rituals and magic, trying to bring that hero into their world. The strange events surrounding Remy suddenly begin to fit together in a terrifying way. Everything bizarre happening to him is connected to the tribe's search for a savior. But Remy can't help thinking about his own life. If he couldn't even stop the man involved with his wife, how is he supposed to defeat a monster? He flatly refuses to help them. The tribal people aren't willing to accept that answer. To change his mind, they hang him upside down from a cliff. Later, they place him inside a cave and tell him to come up with a plan to fight Shaitan. The pressure keeps building, and every path forward seems worse than the last. Hungry, Remy picks up a watermelon that has been left nearby. The moment he touches it, he's suddenly transported back to his own world. This time, he doesn't even bother telling anyone his story. He already knows nobody will believe him. Instead, he heads to the library and starts searching for answers. He spends hours hours looking for a solution, but even after all that searching, he still can't find one. For all the knowledge available to him, the mystery remains completely unsolved. The tribe begins feeding him large amounts of protein, hoping to make him strong enough to defeat Shaitan. The next time Remy arrives in the other world, he comes with renewed determination. For the first time since this nightmare began, he starts thinking like someone preparing for a real battle. The villagers hand him a sword and ask how they can protect themselves from the monster. Remy tells them to relocate to a new village and promises to keep them safe along the way. Their belief has always been that anyone who steps beyond the village boundary will be struck by lightning from the sky. To prove them wrong, Remy walks across the boundary himself. Nothing happens. One by one, the entire village follows behind him. Now everyone is convinced that Remy is the hero they've been waiting for. The fear that once controlled them slowly begins turning into hope. A few hours later, two men from Shaitan's side block their path. They order everyone to return to the village, but Remy stands up to them bravely and secretly manages to kill one of them. Not long afterward, word arrives that Shaitan is preparing to attack the tribe. Back in his own world, Remy starts reading books about military strategy and history. He studies combat techniques and learns how great battles were won. Eventually, he realizes something important. Winning a war isn't only about strength, it also requires people who truly believe they can win. The next time Remy meets the tribe, he delivers a powerful speech that fills them with the determination to fight for themselves and their families. His words spark something powerful, turning fear into courage across the entire tribe. As the tribe's hero, Remy has no shortage of attention from women, but he never looks at anyone that way because he still loves his wife. A little later, he returns to his own world and spends some time with his son. When Remy goes back to the tribe, he discovers that the battle has already begun. His people are being overwhelmed by Shaitan's forces. To prevent more deaths, he leads everyone back to safety. After that, he lays out a new plan. Instead of relying on strength alone, he decides to outsmart the enemy. The following day, Remy approaches the sleeping enemy soldiers and starts provoking them. He slaps some of them, mocks others, and successfully gets them to chase him. Everything is going according to plan. The enemy follows him into an open area, and that's when Remy signals his army to attack. He then runs and hides inside a hollow tree. The tribesmen unleash a barrage of arrows. Half of the enemy forces are killed, while the rest flee the battlefield. After the victory, the tribe bows their heads before him. At that moment, there is no doubt in anyone's mind who their true hero is. After the war, the tribe settles on a new piece of land. Remy has now become their king. Using his modern knowledge, he introduces many new ideas and improvements to the village. What begins as survival slowly transforms into a thriving new civilization. Over time, the tribe prospers. Remy is worshipped almost like a god, and he's constantly surrounded by the shape of the boundary. The tribe is cut fast. During his time there, he even creates a painting similar to the Mona Lisa. Before long, 6 months pass. After ruling for so long, Remy begins to change. In the past, he was intimidated by Dr. Geller. Now, Dr. Geller is the one who gets nervous around him. One day, the two even get into a physical fight, and beating him finally gives Remy a sense of satisfaction. Power starts changing him in ways he never expected. As time passes, his success goes to his head. He begins treating his people more like servants than equals. For a few months, they quietly follow his orders. Eventually, though, they start speaking out against him. When Remy learns about the growing dissatisfaction, he tries talking to them. They tell him they're being overworked and paid too little. What they need isn't more grand palaces, they need better lives. Remy attempts to reach a compromise, but nothing changes. For the first time since becoming king, he finds himself losing the trust of his own people. Eventually, the situation reaches a breaking point. His opponents capture him and throw him out of the village. Everything he built begins collapsing the moment the people stop believing in him. After this experience, Remy finally learns an important lesson. Back in his own world, he asks his friends for help so he can restart his painting studio. He can lead or stay at home, or any woman with a common sense of sentiment. Around this time, a woman named Delphine enters his life, and the two begin developing feelings for each other. But the very first time Delphine kisses him, Remy is instantly transported back to the other world. The villagers have summoned him once again. According to their prophecy, Shaitan must be killed before the final ritual can be completed. No matter how hard he tries to move on, the other world keeps pulling him back. Remy wants nothing to do with it, but the villagers force him into the monster's cage. During the battle, it looks like he has no chance of surviving. In desperation, he throws a spear without even aiming carefully. The weapon flies straight into Shaitan's chest. The monster collapses. Seeing the creature dead, everyone erupts in celebration. Preparations for the final ceremony immediately begin. But the greatest danger isn't over yet. The final ritual requires Remy's sacrifice. The moment Remy learns the truth, he runs into the forest to save himself. After surviving monsters, wars, and impossible worlds, his greatest threat now comes from the people he saved. But the old man who originally used magic to pull him into this world throws the enchanted object into a fire. Once it's destroyed, Remy will never be able to return to his own world again. He is quickly captured and is moments away from death. Then, several people in the crowd grab the burning enchanted object and throw it into the water. Because of that, Remy is suddenly transported back to a hospital in his own world. Michelle and Delphine are both there waiting for him. When Dr. Geller realizes the divorce isn't final yet, he decides to keep his distance from Michelle for the time being. One near-death experience changes feelings that seem impossible to repair. Seeing Remy close to death makes Michelle realize she still loves him. She understands that her relationship with Dr. together was a terrible mistake. Meanwhile, in the other world, the tribe builds a massive statue in Remy's honor and remembers him as their greatest hero. In the final scene, Remy and Michelle are together on a beach with their children. Once again, they are beginning a new chapter in life. After everything he loses, everything he survives, and everything he learns, Remy finally finds his way home. Some people make it out alive, but a part of them never really comes back. If stories like this stay with you long after they're over, subscribe to Rafsat, because sometimes the scariest thing isn't surviving, it's living with what survival is behind.